you're $20, you're getting, 60 or 30 years of knowledge. It's like the best thing you can do. So
Yeah, there you go.
Well
All right,
said. I
we're gonna
never
go
heard
live.
about it that way. Books being a condensation of 30 years of knowledge, or however long it takes.
yes,
Narvaez.
yeah, for $20, let's go. Best
All
investment you
Yeah.
can do.
And we are live. Let's go.
Awesome.
$20, not a bad investment. Thank you for that, sir.
Of course.
Dude, happy to be here. We are live with Nick DeVerdi and Andres Gamboa Barrera on the Ponytails podcast. So happy to be here. We have Dani Narvaez acá con nosotros. I gotta speak in Spanish because this man is Colombian. Dude, happy to have you. 5 Summer Bookman. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having. Tú sabes que mi corazón está en Colombia. Siempre hablamos de Colombia.
Yeah. That's right, Nick.
What?
We'll teach a little Spanish while we're doing this right here.
Dude, well, that's it. Oh, we should explain. So you're being a bookman, and just eating problems for dinner, literally. You had to figure out a way to get some internet, and you're in the middle of, where are you at? You're in Georgia?
Swainsboro, Georgia.
Swainsboro, Georgia. Good old Georgia.
Had to find a restaurant with Wi-Fi, so here we are. We're doing it. You're about to get some food. That's good, man. That's good. That's good.
Hey, I'm glad I can see you guys. Only restaurant open more than past 8 p.m. in the whole county. So I'm advertising for them.
There you go. Well, welcome, man. You're a Florida State Seminole, and I'm living over here in Gainesville now. I've been all over this year, but chomp go Gator. No need for those goals. Whatever.
Come on, you gotta have the nose.
Dude, it's a pleasure to have you on, man. Coming from the Eagle Blitz organization, I've heard great things about you from our new assistant Naomi. Shout out Naomi for being awesome,
Yes.
helping get you on the podcast and helping us out with some behind the scenes stuff. More on that later. But yeah, man, we'd love for you to kind of tell about yourself, whether it be some stats you want to brag about. 5 summers is nothing to shirk at. So how did those summers go? Give a little summary for us.
Yes, of course. So I was at Florida State. It was my freshman year, and I'm a finance major. So I had to pick, 2 extra classes, some science stuff, I don't know. And I happened to pick this one class that I barely ever go to, man, maybe twice during the semester.
Yeah.
And Ross Elliott happened to go in there, and he did some
Ross.
surveys. Yes, he's awesome. Did some surveys, he called me up at night, and man, I was bought in for right away because of the fact that it's a travel internship and you get paid, what you're worth. So
Yeah.
that was awesome. First summer, man, I went to Des Moines, Iowa.
Des Moines.
Oh
Okay.
no.
Did you sell in like Altoona and all those little nearby little cities?
Yes,
How did that
close
go?
by. I was in Jasper County. I was in Newton, and we were in Ames. So kind of like
Oh, yeah.
the
Ooh.
little L around there. Man, it was crazy. It
Totally
was-
different from Florida and Colombia, right?
Yes, man. Yes. So I grew up in Colombia till I was 10. And the first time I left the country was straight to Miami. So for me, Miami was the United States, right? Like that's that's all I knew. I thought that's what it was, right? And then once I graduated high school and went to Florida State, that's the farthest north I've ever been, which is Tallahassee. Again, big city. So when they put me in Iowa, I mean, I was just like, what the heck? Like cornfields, farmhouses, everyone was white. Like, I was
Yeah,
like,
man, nothing
"Whoa,
but white
this-"
people.
Yeah, I'm like, this is not Miami, right? All the Hispanics are in Miami, so it was out of my element. But it was a great summer, man. I had a blast. I had great roommates. I'm still best friends with a couple of them. Shout out to Tyler Sanders, who's probably watching. We're still friends to this day, and man, it was the hardest thing I ever done, but definitely the best thing I could have done for us as a freshman in college.
Yeah, dude.
So you were young. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. And that's kind of wild. We'll come back to this Columbia story because I want to know why you moved here. We'll come back to that later on. But
Of course.
but then, so as you're ramping up, how did your parents react? How did you feel about how did that summer went? What did you kind of pick up? Tell us about that.
Yeah, good question, man. So, man, my mom's very independent. So I've been on my own for a while, even before during high school. So when she heard about this, hey, go do it. Haz lo que tú quieras. Have fun, like just be safe. And my friends were very against it. They were very skeptical. Like, door to door in Iowa instead of Miami. Like, are you, you go, what happened to you, bro? Like, so I did get a little pushback from my friends, but I know it was kind of like a motivational thing to just tell them to F off at the end of the summer once I came back. So that was pretty cool. And other than that, no, the experience, very, very easily taken, to say that.
Yeah, for real. And then,
what was it like, the culture shock, in terms of like, what was it about people in Iowa that you thought was cool, and what about people in Iowa that you thought was weird? Because we're from right next door, right over in Nebraska, so I'm curious what your perspective is on that.
Yeah, so first of all, people are very nice. Most country folks I talk to, even suburbs, whatever, very nice people. Yeah, I don't think everyone's really mean to me. And I would say the weirdest thing, man, nothing against anyone that's from Iowa, but sometimes, bro, it's so dirty. Like the houses, like outside the houses, just everyone piles up their stuff, and like their 30-year-old furniture is still there and all that good stuff. So culture shock for sure. Thank you so much, man.
Oh, you just got your food. It's interesting because that hits home. Growing up, after we moved here, I moved from Colombia too, but when we came to Nebraska, so it wasn't like you could still go find empanadas. So getting used to that culture too is interesting. Although you never saw like dirty homes and stuff like that anywhere else you sold, or was it just this really bad in Iowa? I mean, don't get me wrong, we hate Iowa, but
that was the only thing I remember, that it was just different. Like, I don't know, I guess my family was very clean, and all my friends know this. I'm like super clean, and when I saw that, I was like, whoa, like, yeah. Next door, please.
Damn.
Yeah.
How'd you do that first summer? I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good. Yeah, I was literally gonna ask.
You're good. You're good though. So I was not a top salesperson. I did not hit Sizzler. I was not the best of the best. However, I had a really good time because the first 6 weeks I really was off schedule. I'll be honest, man. Very off schedule. Was not doing what I was supposed to do, and it kind of sucked, right? Because I was here for a reason. So starting from from week 7 all the way to the end, I just actually stayed on schedule, and I still wind up at least making like $3,000-$4,000 just from finishing strong, which kind of grew me as I kept doing during my summer. So after that, I always hit Sizzler. So
there you go.
What happened to make you want to go back to work? Like, how did you go from like screw this? Because I feel like it's harder to do that back in the middle of the summer once you've pretty much slacked the whole time. What like woke you up?
I needed to pay my bills, bro. Like, gas was expensive. That was like $3.50, 2015. So Iowa, I put 25,000 miles that summer. So I was driving. Yes, I mean it was. Whoa. I mean, it's Iowa. There's no houses anywhere. So, but that was a motivator, right? Like, I needed. Hey, like, no one's here. My mom's not here. No one can help me out. Like, it's either I'm gonna put my foot down and get on schedule and stop being a little bitch and finish strong. And thankfully I did. I mean, not the best, but I still did enough to like give me confidence to keep going.
Wow. Damn, dude, there you go. I need to eat, so I'm gonna go knock on some doors.
Right?
Yes.
So going from Iowa back to Florida State, because unless there's any, like, do you have any special stories from that first summer that you feel like changed your life? Because obviously when you work 80 hours a week, you're halfway across the country and you don't know anybody, working on commission, everything that comes with the challenge of that summer, you obviously grow a ton. So like, what were your key takeaways? And obviously that's the justification to go do it again, right? Instead of fear of the unknown, it becomes fear of the known, because it's worth it. So what was it that made it worth it for you?
So great question too, because I was listening to Sean Brifa's podcast that you guys did, and same thing as him when he was describing, you know, the worst day was the best day because so much stuff happened to him that it defined kind of like, okay, I'm just gonna keep going, and then the summer went well. So for me, and I'll give you guys a good story because so it was like again week 6, middle of the week, Saturday. You know, I'm actually working, so I'm out there. I go to this country house, knock on the door. Didn't have any sign about dogs. I swear, like I checked, and the door was slightly open. So I'm in the porch, you know, I knock, and then 3 dogs just rush towards me. It was 2 Labradors and Rottweiler. So they're just barking and running towards me. So I get scared and I fall back, and I fall from the porch into the grass. So I'm in the floor, man, and this big dog, just bites my thigh, bro, like real good, man. Like bites the other side of my leg. I'm over here, you know, the other 2 dogs are like hyping him up, bro. They're just barking in the bag. They're not doing anything, but they're hyping him up. So I get up. I got my tablet. I'm like trying to hit him, whatever. I get up, and then the little girl comes out screaming. So of course she's like, ah. The mom comes out. Oh my God, starts screaming at the dog to come back. Meanwhile, I'm like limping, like bleeding all over my leg. And you know, we go on the porch. She takes the dog inside, and then she tells me, she's like, man, sorry about that. Like, this is he's an ex-police dog, so he's trained. So, you know, I'm there bleeding, but she's freaking out. Like, she's more scared than me. So I kind of calm down, and I'm like, hey, it's okay. She gives me some alcohol to put on my leg. Have this big bite mark, like right on my leg. So anyway, she's like, man, here's the vaccinations, you know, everything's good. So I'm like, hey, it's okay. Like, you know, you do have to buy something. She's like, whatever you want, whatever you want. So she buys like a kid's library or something. And then, you know, that's when I went back in my car, and again, I was still bleeding. It was a pretty big bite, and I could have gone to the hospital or whatever. I don't think I needed to go to the hospital, but I could have gone to the ER, like she said, could have gone home, whatever. I could have done so many things, but I told myself, you know what, like, I gotta keep going because these are the best stories. Like, I heard this before. Dan Moore talked about this. So I kept going, and I wound up just, you know, bleeding in people's porches the whole day, people coming out, oh my God, I'm so sorry, honey. Here's some things, you know, give me some food, bought some books. And I wound up having like 4 or 5 customers for the first time ever, like that summer. And yeah, that's when I was like, okay, I can do it.
Right.
Dang, man. Those dog stories. I'll just share that this scar right here. You can barely see it because it's starting to heal up finally. But that was from my best day selling books, my 4th summer. So that's how it goes. You just got to go to work.
I only got bit twice, and it was both times they were Chihuahuas. I hate Chihuahuas. They are the worst. They're the cat versions of dogs. It's Chihuahuas. You know what I'm saying? They like didn't get all the way into cat version, so they stopped the Chihuahuas. They're the worst. Yeah.
Those just want to kick during the summer. I don't know about you guys, but
they don't shut up. They don't start yapping.
Dude, when like a sale, like everybody has that sale that got ruined because of a dog. Like we all have that story where it's like, dude, I had it. They were gonna get the set or whatever. It was gonna be a 1 through 6 or 50 units, and that freaking dog just didn't shut up. I've lost money because of dogs like that. It's frustrating.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. Here's how I got around that mentality, because there's so many book people that like when Naomi came and visited here in Gainesville, she's like, I don't want to hang out with these dogs. I hate dogs. It takes me a month to like dogs after selling books for the summer because they quote unquote ruin sales. But I got around that by actively seeking the dog out first, being like, hey, hold on, homeowner. I'm going to love on your dog for a second and just like give them all the attention and, win the dog over. I've made sales because they're like, wow, the dog never likes strangers. That's so cool. And I would coach first years on like, go take a selfie with 5 dogs today and share them with me at the end of the, for your stats. And it's always a great way to just, I don't know, turn that into a positive thing. But
did you guys, I always thought about this, like having dog treats and just, walking around.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I never done it. Like, I don't know if anyone that you guys know has.
My old roommate did that. My old roommate Jordan did that. So it works.
Smart.
I've never heard of that. I've never heard of that, but that's a great idea. I don't know why don't they just do that? I mean, it is a significant enough problem that they have to have a whole thing during sales school for this. Like there's a whole 45-minute talk that someone does because there's dogs. Yeah, dogs are a problem.
I'm real with my recruits, man. When I start recruiting, I tell them, hey, you're probably gonna get bit by a dog. Like, here's my scar, just so you know. You still want to sell books? They're like, yeah. But again, now they know, and two of them actually did get bit, but they didn't bitch about it because I told them.
So okay, so talk to me about that. So speaking of recruiting and stuff, so it sounds like you had a pretty significant moment, obviously, that first summer. But then, did you know you wanted to come back for more at that point already, or were you like, I'm just gonna finish this thing strong? Or because some people are already like, I'm coming for 5 more, and other people are like, never again, every time until 8 summers later.
I knew I wanted to do it again just because I wanted to do it right, and that was my thing. I'm like, I'm gonna do another summer for sure, just because I just want to do it on schedule. And then after my second summer, it was like, well, I can do better, so I'm gonna do my third. And then it was like, this is fun. Let me do it a couple more times.
Yeah, man, that's smart. And it's I think, what would you say in general was like the biggest lesson you learned each summer, or like 3 biggest lessons you learned throughout your summers, would you say? Because that 5 is enough to like really experience a lot, and you've obviously recruited too, so you know there's probably a lot more in there too that you learned.
Yeah. So I'll start with the summers. Man, I learned like people are so nice everywhere. Like in Iowa, I sold in Pittsburgh my second summer. I sold in Knoxville, Tennessee my third summer. Sold in Wisconsin twice my fourth and fifth summer. And man, that's the first thing is just everyone was so friendly, man. Like everyone, genuinely, most people that I talk to, at least I believe in this world, are like actually just good people that want to take care of their families. And I noticed that, man, because people not always, but except my third summer, I got offered food every single day. I had dinner with a different family every single day in my third summer in Tennessee. That's how nice people were. Like, it was amazing.
But did you say something for that? We got to come back to this, but sorry, keep going. We'll come back to
it. So that was like the best thing about summers is just the people. Like, I just learned everyone's very friendly and just good people. Now, personally, I definitely learned that, like, it takes hard work to be successful. And whether it be in the summer, recruiting, or whatever, like, you got to put that hard work, even though it sucks right then and there. Because at the end of the day, man, every day for me, not every day, but most of the days, my first 2 summers were, I was fighting, bro. Like, I was fighting for that next demo, bro. I was fighting for that third. I had to do it, like, just my body didn't want to get out of the car, so it was just a lot of personal, like, oh, you can do it, man. So that's a great lesson that I took in for the next summers, even with Family Heritage. And the third thing I'll get from selling books, man, is the relationships with the people that you sold with or I sold with. They're my best friends to this day. And, we party together, we go out together, like, we have this group chat, we travel the country together, like, we do events all over the country. So, like, just those relationships are just so worth it for just selling books.
And that was probably a while ago, like, that you've been building those. So, because your first summer was what year?
2015.
Oh yeah, so it's yeah.
Yeah.
BFFs for life. For life.
For life, baby. Whether they like it or not, but no, I'm saying they like it.
So your second summer, you said, was in Pittsburgh, right? Or was that you're in the third in Tennessee, fourth and fifth in Wisconsin? I'm just gonna make the obvious point that anyone watching this podcast who heard you say everybody's nice everywhere, go to Massachusetts and sell books, man.
Yeah, man. They're not.
Yeah, they're not everybody. Not everybody's nice everywhere. I mean, there's nice people everywhere, but in Massachusetts, the majority, right? That was my first 2 summers, and Andres had a second summer there.
Yeah.
But you had some pretty nice turf there. So tell us about that summer in Pittsburgh.
Yes, Pittsburgh, man, it was great. So my favorite artist back in the day was Wiz Khalifa, and he's from Pittsburgh. So I was just excited to be there where he grew up and where he raps. So Pittsburgh was great, man. It was my second summer. I recruited 3 of my friends to come out.
Let's go.
And I was in schooling. It was great. They were all from high school, actually. So it was just, I was bringing my Miami friends into the book field, so they thought I was crazy. 2 of them didn't make it, but hey, they're still good friends to this day. It's not for everyone.
Right.
But I did have a friend, Juliana, man, she's awesome. She was a walker, and she did the whole summer walking. Did pretty well. I think made like $6,000 her first summer. And man, I just get a lot of respect for like that changed like why I kept selling books. It was because after seeing her finish, right? It was just, I felt so great because she was just, she loved it, and she thought it was just, she was so happy and thankful. So that's what I took from that summer. I hit growth, which is great.
Nice.
Yeah, I had some.
You're on schedule, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. A lot. Like I did my 30 demos, baby. Like you had to do them. I do have I have a pony story, but I'll save that for the end from Pittsburgh.
Cool.
And then that summer, I mean, a lot of people know this because it was pretty cool, but that summer was another defining moment because week 9, it was week 9. My first year left the field. So imagine that. He's my boy. He left the field week 9. Sucked, but I get it. We're still boys. And so that happened on Thursday. I crashed my car. I hydroplaned the day after, so on Friday. And didn't have insurance, so total car, all that stuff. So I became a walker, right? So I had a full walking day on Saturday. And then on Sunday, believe it or not, but we're doing a board awards, and we're doing execs, and I throw my sandals in the air, and I land on my foot, and I break my foot that day. So so it was a week of adversity, let's just say the least. So that was a crazy experience. And then hard for the first, it was very hard going out there on crutches. I had to get dropped off every day in the morning and just sell on crutches in my backpack all the way till 9 p.m. for all day for college. That week after that happened, I only did 2 or 3 days. But then I had a PC. I'll never forget this, man. I had a PC on Sunday with David Stewart. Shout out to David Stewart. He's the man. Definitely should have him here, man. He's awesome. Absolutely. And man, he just hyped me up, man. He was just bringing perspective into like, man, we understand if you don't want to keep going, right? Like we get it. Like your car's destroyed, you can't even walk. Like we get it. But how would you feel, man, if even though all that happened, you hit I Want to Win, you go on Sizzler, and you hit growth, right? Last 2 weeks. And man, I feel great. He's like, well, it's up to you, man. And the next 2 weeks, bro, I got a knee scooter. I started going around neighborhoods in a knee scooter, put my my crutches in between. So every time there's a stairs, I'll use the crutches, knock on the door, come back, go back on my knee scooter, bro, all day long. And bro, it sucked. It was tough. It was hot and all that good stuff. But man, I had my best weeks of the summer. Hit I Want to Win. Because of that, I hit growth and I went on Sizzler. And man, that really just really changed my perspective. It's like, bro, you can really do anything if you put your mind to it. And it's always good to know that I had friends like David that were there for me. So that also helped out.
Dude, that's really inspiring because my second summer, I developed a big pain that was almost, I actually left in the middle of the summer after my eighth week out there. I'm not sure if you experienced what I experienced, but I definitely had my best week, my last week before I went home, because I didn't really learn how to slow down and be myself until I was, injured and I didn't care. I was like, whatever. I had the worst rejection of my career because people were like, yeah, I see that you're injured. I don't care about you. Get off my property type stuff. And then there was the people who were like, oh my gosh, like, we'll hear you out. And this was in Massachusetts, right? This was in the place where they were really not nice at times.
Man, you don't like Massachusetts, Nick.
No, I'll go back there in a heartbeat, and I'll know everywhere to go. And I love the scenery and the education history. But like, what was your experience of like having a slowed down ability to work? Was it different in that regard, like I was describing?
Yeah, it was different. I had to set, instead of doing goal periods by demos, I was just doing sit downs. I'm like, if I get 2 sit downs every goal period, that's a plus, because I could only sit down. Like I couldn't do door dem. I actually could not do door demos. Like I needed to hold myself up for the book bag. So I'm like, Ms. Jones, like we gotta sit down or you don't have to get it. So that was like different mentality. And yes, I did have people that were like, actually, the first day, now you mentioned that, the first day that I was doing crutches, people were like, they couldn't believe it. So I got the cops calling me at the end of the night on my first day on crutches.
Blue light
and
award.
They were like, man, you've been going around this neighborhood and you know, people are sketchy. They say you're pretending that you're pretending to be hurt and you're trying to scam people. I'm like, nah, man, like I'm literally like, I can't walk. Like I'm sitting in the side of the road waiting for someone to pick me up. So I'm just there like talking to the cops, whatever. So yeah, so people did get a little sketched out. But I also got a lot of people that were like, you know, man, like one guy I remember, he saw me at like 8:30 a.m., you know, just starting the day. He came back for lunch. He saw me somewhere else, you know, it's still going. He came back for, you know, after work. It was 6 p.m., bro. And he saw me again. And then he was like, he like waved me down, bro, come in here, man. Like, you've been working all day. What's going on? I'm like, yeah, man, I'm selling boots. Like, no, you're not. I'm like, no, I swear, bro. He's like, man, okay. And then he listened, he bought books, but he was like, bro, I respect that, man. Like, he's like, I had a cold last week and I called off work. And now I feel like a pussy. I'm like, you said it, bro, not me.
And then he bought. Yeah. On the Massachusetts thing, the people are rude there, but it's in a lovely way. Like it's different. It's like having a really mean, like the meanest drill sergeant or something like that in the army. Where you're just like, I mean, that sucked, but if I can get through him, it's all a breeze. Like 49 out of 50 states are super nice, but people in Massachusetts, they're proud of it. They're like, so many people would sit down with you and they go, so have you been dealing with a lot of mass holes? Like they call themselves mass holes. And they're like, it's like a cultural pride. And you're like, it's like Colombians being proud of salsa dancing. You're just like,
and cocaine?
We're not proud of their cocaine.
Not proud of that.
We're not proud of it. But the dancing and Shakira, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All right, so okay, so what happened? So your last summer then, so 5 summers. Your last summer would have been 2020, last year. So what? 2019. So what have you been up to since? I mean, obviously, I don't know. There's a flu going around. I don't know if you heard, but before that flu, you know, what happened from 19 to now? Like, how did you get here?
Yes. So yes, after my last summer, Wisconsin, I did OL for 2 summers. So that was a great experience, by the way. Always recommend people OLing. Like made everything so much fun. But because of that type of skill of leading and recruiting and things like that, you know, I was very confident I was going to get a good job. Like, even though I graduated college in the summer and then, graduated and then did the summer. And then I took 6 months off and I went to Colombia for a couple months. So I bro, I did a road trip over there, man. It was great. I rented a car, bro. We drove from Bogota all the way to Cali. Then we went up to Medellin through the Eje Cafetero, Manizales, all the way up to the coast, Barranquilla, Cartagena, and then down to Bogota. Awesome, bro. I got LASIK, so that was cool. In Colombia.
Yeah. That's how you do it. That's dentist work and vision work in Colombia. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah, bro. Best doctors and a third of the price in the US.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So I did that, traveled to Colombia, came back. I started planning events. So I'm not sure if you guys heard, but I was like, after Sizzler, I realized like, man, people love Sizzler. I love Sizzler. And I want this to be more than just one day or one weekend out of the year. So I started planning Colombia trips. So Andres, I've taken a bunch of people from,
Whoa.
Everyone's good. they're good out here. I started taking people from Texas. So like Alex Castro and Edgar Ibarra. I took them to Vivi Gwent. I took them to Colombia. They're like all-inclusive trip, man, with my family, bro. We had a blast. I brought friends from people I recruited. So my boy Tyler Orlando and some of my last recruits, Sebastian, took him to Colombia. I started planning EBC events. So we had we had a crazy one in 2019 after the summer. It was 40 of us, bro. So
In
40
Orlando?
book kids in Orlando. We got this big mansion. We went, 5 days, party buses, all that good stuff. So I organized that. And I just kept organizing those stuff. And in the meanwhile, I got in contact with Family Heritage with Brian Ross, who also sold books. And I think he kind of founded Blitz organization out of Eagle Blitz. So he's a legend. And he recruited me. I moved to Jacksonville. And the last year and a half, or almost 2 years now, I've just been selling insurance with him, traveling, planning events, and just, doing that.
Dang. Oh, you're gonna tickle Taverdi's itch for alumni sizzler. Tell him about your idea.
Yeah. Okay, I'm glad you brought this up first, Andres, because if you like planning awesome trips, what I want to do is get everyone who's been on our podcast, and they can invite whoever. We want to like rent an island or go to some resort a la Sizzler, and just have adult Sizzler, alumni Sizzler, and just go ham. And they can buy the plane ticket. We'll get the space, right? And we'll just have a wonderful week in paradise. So if you want to help me do that, let's get it set up. We can go to Colombia.
Yeah.
We can go to anywhere on earth. It's gonna be
San
good.
Andres. Hey, I think you're thinking of San Andres right there.
Yeah.
Bro, say the word and I'll be super down to help you out, man. That is literally what I'm doing all over like different things. So
yeah, Cartagena, been there. It's impeccable. I loved island hopping with actually Andres' younger brother Danny and his fiance's, or I'm sorry, his wife's family. He proposed to Aisha. They're on that trip in Cartagena, so that was super special. But yeah.
So you've been there, okay? Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sure he showed you a good time. Like he showed you everything.
In Cartagena, absolutely. So I want to get to Bogota, Medellin, all that stuff. Been to Cusco in Peru. That was really special to go to Machu Picchu. But yeah, we've got plenty of options south of the border.
Yeah. Tell me about the food. What do you think of the Colombian food?
It's very straightforward because I actually don't eat meat, so I had like few options, right? And it's like, okay, all right, what am I gonna eat in Colombia, right? But
that's tough in Colombia. That's very tough in Colombia. I think everything's meat based over there. So
yeah, for sure. But rice and beans and egg. I still eat eggs, right? But plantains, right? So
plantains are good.
Empanadas, that was tasty. So yeah.
Yeah, that's the food is like so vast and unique and so different. You can have like a variety. There's a lot. We have like 14 different soups. Like it's quite a bit. It's quite a bit. All right. Well, hold on. Let's tangent onto that real quick. So then you grew up. We go back to family heritage, but let me talk to you about since we're already on here. So you grew up in Colombia until you were 10. You said.
Yes.
How did you end up here? Like what? I mean, you don't just like. I mean, at least when you're from Colombia, you don't just go. All right. Let's just go.
Where in Colombia?
Yeah, Bogota. I grew up in Bogota.
Hey.
We're in Bogota.
Oh yeah. Pontion and Normandia.
Okay.
Which is Engativá. Yeah. Oh no, I'm in the hood, bro. They call it Funky Bronx.
Bronx.
I'm from like the south, so we're talking, Restrepo. You go a little further to south than that, and Bosque, San Carlos, Baby House. That's my.
Oh, you're south, yeah.
Yeah, bro. Hood.
yeah, different.
Not the same place Nate grew up in.
No, I grew up in Dundee, neighborhood of Omaha. So.
Nebraska. Not south.
I took the book kids to Pontion. I took them to Engativá. I took them everywhere, man. Like
That's
I wanted
rough.
to make this trip. Yeah, man, I want to make this trip. I wanted to see like the culture and the people and like not just, the popular side, but like you got to see everything. So they know that.
Ghetto. Okay, so you're in Bogota, and what happened? Why did we pick up and leave?
Yeah. So my mom, she was already in the States for 7 years before I was here. So she had me when she was very young, and she was a single mom. So she wanted to come to the States so I can have a better life. And man, she's amazing because now, especially after the summers and, emotional stuff, you realize, well, I realized, like, how much she's done for me, man. So I love her to death. But that was the whole thing, man. She left just so I can not be in Colombia and have a better life. And it took a couple years. I lived with my grandma in the meanwhile, and like all my family. And by the time I was 10, finally got the papers, flew straight to Miami, first time ever. And yeah, I've been living in the United States since then.
Damn. You got your citizenship already?
Oh yeah. No, I'm dual citizenship.
Let's go, baby.
Oh yeah, no, I'm like super, like, it's funny because I'm like super American. I call myself that because I'm very into, like, when it comes to politics and stuff like that, I'm very into, like, hey man, this is the land of the free. Like, we're gonna keep it like this. Let's, there's a reason we're out here in the United States. Like, and English, I speak more English now than Spanish. So, it's I still speak Spanish for sure, but I gotta work on that sometimes.
Quick question, because I think this is definitely a way to kind of open up something that Andres is a little sheepish in sharing, right?
I bought
cost of citizenship. Yeah, at the start of this episode, he's like, all right, I'm sending you money. Let's do this. What was the cost of your citizenship in getting to America? And was it easy for your family to find that way to Miami? And I don't know. You tell a little bit of like the actual journey, because it's not an easy one. I was lucky to be born here, but
this is gonna sound funny to people who didn't see what you did, but that's okay. We can continue.
we got a book coming out.
No, it's out.
Well, Andres, it's already out actually. Yeah.
Sorry.
Awesome.
Go ahead.
No, you're good. So, man, great question. The cost, man. I think, again, my mom, she everything, bro. It cost her everything. She came by herself. She was, I think, 22 or something, 23. She had me at 19. Like, she everything she did for me. So I think that was the biggest thing. I guess for me, I mean, it really, not being with my family, like Andres can attest to this. Colombians, we're very family oriented, man. Like, we, our doors are always open. We got uncles and cousins coming in and out whenever they want. Like, there's no rules pretty much, and people live in the same, like I stay with my aunt for a year, and whatever. We always move around. So not being with them was rough, because coming to Miami, my mom was married to an American, great guy. His name is Bruce, and like, I didn't know anyone. I had no friends. No one. I mean, I didn't even speak English, and I just showed up to Miami. Thankfully, a lot of people speak Spanish in Miami, but my mom wanted me to accelerate that, so she never put me in Spanish class. Like, she told the schools that I was born here, technically, so that I can not go to any ESOL classes and only go to the English speaking classes, and I would just pick it up fast. So that was interesting the first year or two, just because, again, I couldn't really communicate. But bro, you watch TV and then you should just memorize everything they say, and that's kind of how I learned.
What was your favorite show watching growing up? Both of you. I'm curious about both of you. What your favorite TV shows?
I bet I know. I'm going to say the same thing. I'm going to say it first and see if it's the same. Dragon Ball Z.
That was actually I didn't watch that. Sorry.
Oh, what kind of Colombian are you?
I know. not the Dragon Ball Z. It's funny, actually. I thought you were gonna say Drake and Josh, because you said with a D. I'm like, that's the one. Honestly, I love that show.
Drake and Josh was good.
Oh
yeah. I learned a lot of English through them.
Yeah. I always say that it's because for me, the reason I just said Dragon Ball Z is like every little Hispanic kid like grows up watching Dragon Ball Z, and or at least it seems like it anyway. Just say generalizing here.
I grew up watching that.
And so when I moved here, like I had all the episodes memorized in Spanish. Wow. So when I watched them in English, or like the ones that were on the air, right, and when there were reruns, and then when I came here, I knew what they were saying, but I didn't know what they were saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so and so I was like, yeah, this is way different. Their voices were different, but you kind of start picking up words, and you're like, oh, that's what that means. That's what that means. That's what. Yeah, it's a lot of just full immersion is the way you do it. Funny that you say that you're full American in quotations. I always in my stand-up bit I have a joke about that. I always say that I've been whitened out as after living in Nebraska for 20 years, because like I say I'm like, what did I say? I go, oh yeah, I'm like Qdoba, you know, kind of. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yes.
by the way, we're not sponsored by Qdoba,
But we could be.
but we could be.
I hope they're listening.
Yeah. Shout out Qdoba. Doba's good. If you don't have a Qdoba where you're from, Chipotle, it's the same joke. Yeah, man. So
I have a question, Andres. My bad,
Yeah.
real quick. Okay, did you listen to Juanes
yeah.
when you growing up?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Oh yeah, baby. Camisa negra, all that stuff. Yeah, you gotta. You
Adios,
can't,
Pepito.
yeah, the thing with Colombians, and we're proud of being Colombian. People will tell you they're Colombian before they tell you their name. Hi, I'm Colombian, and my name is Andres. That's me in a T-shirt. That's like me on a T-shirt. But yeah, you know, your parents. I mean, my parents made sure, and I don't know if your parents are the same way, but my parents. I mean, they would always say like, okay, from the door in, you can speak Spanish. But from the door out, I don't give a shit what you speak. It could be Chinese, it could be English. We don't care. But when you're in here, like they made sure we learned de salsa. They made sure we learned how to cook the food, just so we wouldn't lose. And really because that's all they knew. When I turned 18, I asked my mom like what it felt like to have a child that graduated from a United States high school, and she said, well, I don't know, because I didn't raise you. I don't feel like I raised either of you boys because you had to learn how to be American, quote unquote, right, on your own. We couldn't teach you about peanut butter and jelly or Thanksgiving or how to build a snowman, but we could teach you salsa and how to make an arepa. You know what I'm saying? And so that's what they did. And so I don't know. And this is probably true across Hispanics in general, but like for me, that they didn't allow me to forget that side of me, and so that's why I was able to listen to Juanes and to the Diomedes Diaz and some of those like Colombian idols, right? And so yeah, it's really interesting. You kind of keep up and you live like both lives. You start seeing the differences and similarities and things, and yeah, you learn a lot by that perspective, which I'm glad that, I mean, it was a tough journey for us, but I'm glad that that's what happened, because here we are with this perspective. So, and I like it. So that's good.
Exactly.
Thanks for the question though.
Of course. And I wanted to add something. So I really like working in the South. So Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, like even Northern Florida, because the culture is kind of the Colombian culture that I grew up with. People here, they all know each other. They're all family, Christian, very chill people. Like they stay together. They don't really leave. So working in Tennessee really made me feel more comfortable being there in the United States. Because again, I thought it was all Miami. So I thought it was all big cities, but then I realized, I'm like, no, there's like a big part of the country that is very, just good Southern folks. So I had to throw that in there because I feel like I'm at home when I'm here working in the South. Like, I say ma'am, howdy, yee.
Goodness gracious. Sometimes I feel like that. Sometimes I drive to Florida and I see like a giant Confederate flag just proudly flying, and I'm like, oh, that too.
That too, yeah. But it's the South, man. It's the South.
That's the South. In Massachusetts, you don't see that. A lot of people yell at you at their door. Man,
I bet.
That's cool. So back then towards like selling in Southwestern, then what would you say were some of the skills that you use the most that are helping you today? So like, what do you say? It's like, man, if I hadn't learned this, I'd flop right now.
Man, the power of attitude, just, positive mental attitude. Like no matter what your situation is, you get the choice to either kind of be a victim or kind of, choosing the attitude to just keep going. And I think Sean Riefel also said this, it's, life is not what happens to you, it's how you react to it. So many times during the book field that I really have to like make myself like remember that and self-talk and things like that. But it really kept me going with just, my travel business and, me traveling and just me doing insurance and things like that. So definitely that. And then what else? Positive attitude. That's my third one. Self-talk. Honestly, self-talk, man, like we got to do that every day. Like that's something that I don't think is ever going to go away. And I'm glad, because if it wasn't for Southwestern, I wouldn't be utilizing it as much. And now I really notice myself whenever I have bad days, whether it be personal stuff or career wise, like I just got to self-talk my way out of it and just tell myself out loud that, hey, it's not a big deal. Everything's gonna be okay, right? Jesus is still king. We're good. Like, let's keep going.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Love the attitude. It's funny. I'm connected to people, for example, in Southwestern real estate. We talk about how half the company's non-book people, half the company is. And when self-talk gets brought up to the people who didn't sell books door to door, they're like, self-talk is creepy, right? And it's like, that's the weirdest. I mean, we're so ingrained as to like how powerful that is, attitude maintenance and making sure that we can project into, you know, the life that we want to live through our words that we say to ourselves. But it's a creepy thing to most people, and it's funny that that's a word that people typically choose because people are so in their heads, right? And I've caught myself doing that all throughout my lifetime of being in my head. And then I'm like, oh, I need to snap out of it and say some words out loud. Some nice sounding words to myself. So would you say that like, what would you say were some concrete moments in your book career that taught that lesson specifically? I know it's kind of like a big question as well.
No, I like it, man. Because I wanted to bring this up. So recruiting, okay? So there's gonna be the recruiting side, being a manager.
Yeah.
So when I became a B contract, and then of course as a C, I was an AOL, and then OL. Again, when you're in OL, like you have like a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
But I learned this from my B contract years, that you gotta be a duck, right? Like no matter what happened, no matter how bad your day is, no matter what happened to you, once you get home, man, and you turn up the car and you go inside the house, like you don't matter. Like it's all about the first year. It's all about being there for them. And it really helped me because, man, there's days in the book field, especially like my last summer where I was already kind of off. Like I was already thinking about what I wanted to do and not really be there. But bro, I had awesome HQ, and I had, you know, my boy Sebastian, who's Colombian, my boy Tyler, who I recruited, their first summer, man. And at the end of the day, I didn't care how my problems were going. As soon as I got into that house, like we would like hug each other, rest. I mean, it was like bro time, and it really helped me just kind of let go of the day and then move on. And it helped them just like have a great time. And they had no idea how my summer was, man. They both hit Sizzler, came back as student leaders. I mean, it was just a great reminder that, man, if I just, you know, no matter what happens, man, I gotta just sometimes I just gotta let it go. I won't say pretend life is good, but you know, make an effort to focus on someone else, and just your problems kind of go away. So
never nervous when your heart is on service, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude,
and he just made Southwestern so much more fun. Like, I mean, books is great, you know, selling books, units, great, like awesome, Sizzler, all that good stuff. But man, like just those times that we spent together in the HQ in the morning or at night, like, you know, you can ask everyone, like, I had the best HQ, bro. Like you stay with me, we're gonna have a good ass time. Like we're having fun. When we come home, bro, I don't want to hear units, bro. I'm smacking the head. Like we're gonna have some food. We're gonna watch, you know, and those people were still such good friends to this day. And again, they travel with me, and you know, we have plans to like maybe work together, and it just all was so worth it because of like that duck mentality.
Absolutely.
The HQ experience is something that's pretty unique to the entire experience. It's not something that happens normally. I feel like I'm trying to think if any other company did that. It'd be kind of strange. But the idea of
that's a good question.
The idea that you're just living in a home at some random person's house that you've never met, probably rarely will see again after. Like I've seen some of my HQ parents, host parents later on, but then like you have to create this environment. My first summer. And my first and second summer both were probably the best HQs I ever had, and they were super like important for my success, or for me to be able to do well as a manager and as a first year, you know. So it's interesting that that's such a unique part. Like everybody has a good HQ story, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Everybody has a good or a crazy one. Like Danny was telling us, I don't know if you guys heard that episode, but Danny's, I think it was his third summer, he stayed in a school. This family had bought a school If you haven't
I've been
listened
to that school. That's an incredible host family right there.
Yeah. If you haven't heard that the story, go check out the episode. I think it's number 46, Danny Gamboa. And he's like halfway through, but he stayed at his school. I won't go into many details, but yeah, it's just something like that. Imagine like that experience as a person in your life at some point when you're 20. You know, it's just like this is strange, but it's kind of fun.
Yeah, yeah, so much fun, man. That's my favorite thing about the book field is the HQ. Like HQ, man, is just people bond. You know, we're just bros, right? Or you know, if you're with girls or whatever, like you can just be yourself, and I think it's just like a good, like loving. You know, it helps everyone's attitude just being in an HQ. So I always like I guess because I had a really good experience my first summer with HQ. That's what I really want to focus on moving on. And I really hope that, you know, this is a thing in Southwestern now where you really emphasize on having good HQs so people stay and people really thrive from the book field. So yeah, I just want to say that.
I will say there's some things that need to be changed in some of that, because one of the things that I feel like book kids are notorious for is not treating HQs very well. And I say this from the perspective that my mom has hosted every summer, I think, since Danny's first, so 2013 or something, and they hosted like every year. It's been some have been better than others. You know, she's got it down to a T where like they stay, where they shower and everything, but it's like sometimes it's like whoa,
yeah,
or they'll eat like her food. She had a summer where that was happening, where there was like the kid would just come home and like grab stuff out of the fridge, like he lived there. It was really strange. So, you know, it's if you can do it right, if you keep it clean and nurture it, I feel like they should put a little bit more emphasis on that so they can have repeats, because there's a lot of HQ parents that are like, yeah, no, not again.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Like a lot.
I have a quick story. So my fourth summer, it was the first time being on Noel. We're in Wisconsin, and I worked with Tessa LaPlante. You guys know her? Yeah,
she's been on here.
Oh, really? I gotta watch that.
Check out her episode.
Okay, don't tell her I didn't watch it, but I'm gonna watch it. So we're OLing and we're knocking on doors, trying to find places to live, and we found a house where it was one family and they had 3 babies. So it was mom, dad, 3 babies. There's 2 floors. The second floor was empty. There was 2 rooms, so we can all stay there. They only had 1 bathroom for the whole house in the first floor. Yeah. So we needed an HQ, and it was my HQ because that was where I wanted to work, and it was 5 guys. So we had 5 guys and the family, but they were just the nicest people. I mean, we were trying to be respectful and we clean and everything. Again, you're with me, you're cleaning, like you're not dirty out here. Like I don't like that.
Very good.
So we had a good relationship, but it was just funny, man. Like we had 10 people in one house, in one bathroom. And like, bro, one of the first years that was with us, Victor, he's awesome, Palacio. It was his first summer. He's great. He would sleep. Like if he was tired, like he would knock out anywhere in the house. So like every once in a while, like he'll be in the kitchen and, you know, we just had dinner. And then I come downstairs, you know, it's like 11 and he's like knocked out in the kitchen, you know, with his head down. We'll try to get him up. He wouldn't get up. That's fine. Other times we'll be in the floor in the middle of the floor where the family like goes out and eat. We're just laying there on the floor, and the babies will like go on top of him and like crawl around him, just like try not to disturb him. And it was just hilarious because, you know, it was 10 people, you know, 5 guys, but bro, like no one quit. Most of us hit Sizzler, that HQ, bro. We had a tight org, and man, all of them came back for a second summer. So it's just such a good, you know, even the worst HQ experience you might think, like it always turns out to be fun, man.
Yeah.
I can tell you're super positive and making sure, like very dedicated, very loyal, very in the details, man. That takes a lot of energy, effort, and work, man. Respect.
Yeah. Thank you. I try. Get it from my mom.
Yeah.
Damn. But so let's do this. So we've been going for about an hour. Let's throw if you have multiple, you said you had a couple of stories for like pony stories, or did you have one? Because it might be time for that pony story, brother. It might be time for that, for the showstopper. Although if you have multiple, feel free to send. Like some people have given us like 3 or 4. Some
Send
just,
it.
Yeah, just send it.
Send it.
Let's hear it. Let's hear the good ones.
I got a lot of off-schedule stories that I'm not gonna share in this podcast. Maybe in the next one. I mean, if you guys are cool with it.
That's all you.
Yeah. We've had people.
Fun.
We had people tell us some really good off-schedule stories.
This is an entertainment and comedy podcast. If we can make us laugh and keep us engaged, that's what we're here for.
We haven't had a good one in a while, so if you get like a really good one, that's you can throw that one in too. Besides, like because you mentioned your second summer, you had a pretty big one, right?
Yeah, I have a fun story.
So let's do. Throw us a couple then. Let's hear it.
All right, man. Hey, if Raul's watching, he knows I'm out of the system now, so we're good to go. No,
he can't hurt you anymore.
Exactly.
Shout out to Raul, but he can't hurt you anymore. Yeah.
Yes. So first summer, again, there's a reason that I wasn't top of my game, very off schedule the first couple weeks. But there was one week, man. It was I think week 8, and I knock on this random person's house. It was Saturday morning, 10 a.m., beautiful day. You know, a couple high school kids come out and they're like, "Oh, what are you doing, bro?" I'm selling books. So it's like, that's fun, whatever. It's like, we're about to go to a concert. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, where is it? It's like, oh, it's in Omaha, Nebraska. So
that's my hometown.
Like, yes. Oh, yeah, I love this then. So I'm like, Omaha, Nebraska. Like, how far is that from? You know, I'm in Des Moines, Iowa, or wherever I was. It was like, 2.5 hours. I'm like, okay, cool. Who's going? Kid Cudi, Logic, and Mac Miller. I'm like, no way. He's like, yeah, all 3 in one day.
That's a legendary lineup right there. One of those guys is dead, and one is really depressed. Well, the other 2 are really depressed, but they're still really great musicians. Just saying.
But back in 2015, man, like it was like a big deal. I mean, I still
I was trying to get tickets to that concert. That was my first my hop summer that I didn't sell, and I was trying to get tickets to that concert.
Oh, that's hilarious, bro.
That's 2015, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna love that then. So I'm like, oh my God, that's like my favorite artist. Like, okay, cool. So I keep working, you know, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. So I'm like, man, I don't know if I should go or not, but I really want to. So I gotta hit up my boy, Tyler, I'm still best friends with. And of course he has his phone on. So we're like, we called each other. So we called each other. I was like, bro, like, this is what's gonna happen. You know, do you want to go, man? Like, he's a walker, so I had to pick him up. He's like, I don't know. I'm like, okay, doesn't matter. You don't have to go. No big deal. You know, 20 minutes later, he calls me back. Hi, bro. Like, you know, F this. Like, let's go. I'm like, okay, cool. So I pick him up, pick up another guy, Moses. He was in our HQ. We went straight to Goodwill. We got some clothes. We picked up, Moses was 21, so he picked up a little rosé on the way. And, and then we drove, man. We drove. It was like 3 p.m. by the time we left Iowa. Drove straight, got to Omaha, Nebraska, 5:30 p.m., bro. And we didn't have tickets, but I was like, bro, like, we're going to get in. Like, this is it. So, yep. We started.
A positive story in the end. A positive attitude story. Yeah. It's not an off-schedule story. Positive attitude.
No, this is part of the book, too. So, of course, like, I'm looking around. We finally find this guy. I'm like, hey, bro, like, can you help us sneak in? Long story short, bro, we sneak in. We get to see, you know, I think it was Logic first, then Mac Miller and Kid Cudi. Dang. And, like, you know, let's just say, you know, we're drinking a little, haven't drunk the whole summer. So we were like, pretty tipsy. And then, you know, people were out there handing out some other substances. And, of course, we were like, oh, okay, you know, heck yeah, Mac Miller. So, bro, it was, like, one of the funnest days of my life.
Wow.
And our boy Moises, he's good. He didn't drink or anything. Drove back. We didn't get back to the HQ till 1:30 in the morning. And it was Saturday, I guess, in the morning. Woke up, you know, did execs like normal, and keep going. So that was one of my favorite days, favorite stories. My first one.
Favorite one of your favorite days in one of my favorite cities. I'm happy to hear.
Yeah. So I was there. So
Central Lake
that's
Center.
A good one. Yes.
It's a good place. It's a cool town.
It was pretty. I mean, we didn't get to really see it, but first time in Nebraska, so I had a good time, Nick.
Proud of you. We both are.
Yes. Now I was gonna say another story, which is pretty cool. I even have a picture, but
Oh yeah.
Text it to that group that we have, and I can share it screen for it if you want, so we can show everybody.
Okay. So that was cool. So I'm in Pittsburgh, and it's northern Pittsburgh. I don't know if you guys been there, but it's very mountainy and just a lot of trees. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. I didn't. Yeah, it was weird. It's different. So a lot of trees, mountainy. So I'm like driving in the middle of nowhere. I don't know where I am, and I go into this house, and when it says do not go in, you'll get shot or whatever, little kids are gonna go in, right? So
Target.
Target, yeah. Drove in, man, at least like half a mile road, dirt road in the woods, like bumpy, whatever. I get there, and I forgot, I think it was a Friday, so the garage was open, and I walk into that house, or I walk into the garage, the guys are drinking beer. So I'm like, hey, what's up, guys? Like, oh, what you doing, boy? Like what, who are you, bro? Like, I caught him by surprise. They were freaking out. I was like, oh man, I'm just selling books. Like, I took out my book. I'm like, look, it's a kid's book. Like, I swear. He's like, boy, come over here. And then I'm like, crap. Like, I'm dead. So he like puts me in. He's like, put all the books in the, in the counter. I want to see what you got. I'm like, okay, so I got this and this, and like, and he's just looking. He's not even looking at the books. He's looking at me, like the whole time, just staring while I'm like talking to him. He's just staring at me, not even looking at the books. And I'm like, I mean, bro, do you even want them? Like, he's like, no, man, keep talking. And I'm like, oh crap, okay. So I keep talking. I drop some names. I keep going. His buddy in the back was just like super stern, and like, and this guy's like big old white boys, bro. Like, they were so surprised that some random Hispanic kid is just in their driveway in the middle of nowhere. So whatever. So they're kind of intimidating, but again, they saw that I was being legit, and they cooled off. He's like, let me tell you something, bro. I got one little girl, mom's upstairs, but you're not gonna talk to her. We're gonna buy your books, but you gotta drink with us tonight. I'm like, well, I'll have a beer or two, okay? So we came, started drinking, started laughing, whatever, hanging out. And then they're like, boy, have you ever shot a gun before? I'm like, he's like, oh, no.
Oh, really?
They got so excited, bro. They got so excited. So they brought all these guns and like rifles and all this. I didn't even know what it was. He's like teaching me. He said, bro, let's go outside in the back. And I'm like, okay, I'm kind of tipsy. I'm sure they're drunk. And we're walking outside with all this ammo and guns. Like, all right, we'll see what happens. And they had a bunch, big yard, a lot of property, and they had like this, I guess, targets. So they gave me the gun. I'm just there like, bah. And they're like, whoa, how was that, boy? And I'm like, it's pretty fun. He's like, all right, keep going. So I'm like, yummy? He's like, yeah, keep going. So I shoot again. He's like, no, bro, I want you to empty that mag right now. I'm like, I'm just shooting, bro, shooting. And they're having a good time, bro. They brought more beer. They keep loading me up, man. And this was, again, back in 2016, like ammo was cheap and no one cared.
Yeah.
Bro, they gave me like 7-8 mag. I mean, I was just shooting, drinking. I mean, it was wild. And yeah, so we finished up the match, went downstairs, and I'll send you a picture because I actually do have, and I'll send it to you, but I got a little selfie with the boys.
Yeah, dude, send us that. Send us that.
That's so awesome.
Yeah. That's epic. That is so good. That my first time I had a story like that. He asked me the same question. He's, you ever shot a gun? I said, no. You're from Nebraska. You never shot a gun? I said, I don't. Larry Keegan on Keegan Road up by, actually just north of Pittsburgh into the New York border. I was up there. Yeah, that's how I know that area. It's the same idea. Lots of bears, a lot of guns.
Yep.
And they have them out. They have them out in the porch, and you're just kind of like, whoa. Yeah. You saw a lot of. Did you see a lot of Amish people up there?
No, but I did see a lot of them in Wisconsin.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They're all over, bro.
Family Bible libraries, bro. I saw a sign. I saw a sign that was like horse and buggy, like caution horse and buggy, and I was like,
Amish territory.
We're not in Colombia anymore. When I saw that too.
This is not South Bogota, baby. This is a lot less dangerous. They don't even watch TV here.
Was that Pennsylvania Dutch? I heard. What?
Yeah.
Pennsylvania Dutch.
It's crazy. It's crazy. All right. Right. Then all right, let's do the summer number 2 then. Is that what
You said
Yeah, that was a Pittsburgh.
Oh, that was
Yeah.
okay, cool.
Yeah, that was the Pittsburgh. Yeah, that was the Pittsburgh story.
That was the one.
Yeah. I mean, I got some that we can do it offline.
That's a story for another time. That's a story for another time.
Yeah. We don't need that out here.
Oh, dude. Well, damn, dude. It's been really fun to have you on. It's been really,
Same, man.
really. I did every episode, every one of these we've done is really, really cool.
Yeah.
Got some announcements to make, and then Nick can do us a roll call of who's up next, if that's while he pulls it up. A couple of announcements. So first things first, we are excited for obviously continuing season 2. We're going to try to keep continuing on Thursdays and Sundays, so you guys can tune in. Thursdays for sure at 7 Centrals. We're going to keep it steady at. Might flex to 7:30. Sundays are going to keep going. Couple of things coming up. We are excited about some merch that's in the works. You guys will start seeing some of that stuff coming out soon. And more than anything, we've actually really appreciated the growth. If you're listening, leave us a review, leave us a like, share, subscribe. That kind of support really helps and kind of helps us. Give us a follow on Instagram. That way we can kind of ask questions. We've been able to book people who were recommended on there. So if you have someone that you recommend, Instagram would definitely be the way to go to send us, DM us. We reply to everybody that we can. And we're excited just because it's been growing. This thing's been growing organically and naturally, and it's really, really fun. So yeah, we're obviously looking for any support, whether it's with equipment or more than anything, really just financials. If anybody wants to sponsor us, if you're interested in learning a little bit about sponsorship and the numbers that we have for that, there are some pretty good things coming and working in the way that is going to help us out and help your business out. So if you want to market your business on our website, we have a lot of viewership. We're starting to grow every week after week, and it's primarily to alumni. So anybody who's listening to would be interested in that, reach out to us on Instagram, and we can talk about that. So with that, Nick, who do we have coming up in the next few weeks and stuff?
Alrighty, so
and then
this upcoming Sunday, go for it.
And when you're done with that,
we got fanny packs.
Yeah, we got fanny packs. Also the October project, but I'll mention that at the very end.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. So this upcoming Sunday, the 12th, September 12th, we finally are nailing down Will Metcher and Andy Laws. We've scheduled them like 4 or 5 times, it feels like, and just every which thing, like a kidney stone, everything got in the way, but we're doing it. 10 p.m. Eastern time. That's 7 p.m. Pacific time. Tune in. That's going to be a great episode with some great friends of ours. And then next Thursday is going to be Griffin Mims, Andre's old roommate from that 4 summer of his in Vermont. Great kid from Nebraska. And then the following that following Sunday is not yet booked, but the following Thursday we've got some legendary names that I don't know too much about. I've heard plenty of times, but I'm super curious about Steve Herlihy and his wife Ella. Were recommended, and they reached out, and we're just excited to hear some stories from folks that sold decades and decades ago. I don't know how long ago they were, maybe in the 80s and 90s, if I remember correctly. But Steve and Ella Herlihy are on Thursday the 23rd. And then the Sunday the 26th, we've got someone that our assistant Naomi met in Indiana this summer. His name is Barry. Do you know his last name, Andres?
I'm not sure yet. I don't think we've asked, but it's a mysterious character. But he's supposedly the coolest guy ever. So we're excited for that.
So that's on the docket, Sunday the 26th at 3 p.m. Eastern time. But then we've got Alex Soto, who will be our most recent alum. He sold this past summer. Yeah, Alex sold for 8 summers. I love this dude. That's on Thursday the 30th. He went from like 2,500 units every summer, and then 8,000 units his last summer this year. So he'll have some impressive stories, and he's definitely worth hiring for anyone who's curious about Alex Soto. But then, Andres, tell him about what's happening in October, what we got in the works.
Yeah, so Breast Cancer Awareness Month is in October, and in an effort to do that, we're going to be raising money that's going to go straight to or we're going to do a fundraiser with some money that's going to be going towards the philanthropy. We're still like looking to see exactly which one we're going to nail it down to. But in October, then we're going to have a straight lineup, or we're attempting to have a straight lineup of female-only guests in that for that as well. And so we're super excited about that. We're trying something new. This was an idea that Naomi brought up as well. And shout out to her for helping out so much with a lot of the stuff that we're trying to do behind the scenes here. But yeah, so get excited for that. If you guys have female guests that you would love to see on here, we can have repeats, people you've loved before, you want to hear more from, or suggestions of strong book women that we've had, that we've missed, and that we haven't been able to get on the show. We would love to have that. Even if you could have multiple guests in one, that'd be great. Love to see some book sisters on here. So with that, I will close this out. So hey man, Danny, thank you so much for being on here. Thanks. We'll be sending you some stuff after this, and look for that book, The Cost of Citizenship, coming to you. Let me know what you thought of it, and we'll hope to hear from you. Keep in touch, brother.
Thank you guys. You guys are great.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. You guys have a good day. Peace.
Bye.
All right.